Welcome to the Chad Prather Show. It's like I haven't seen you guys in what, 2 hours? Here we are. Does Chad have anything new to say that we didn't hear this morning on Dear America? Turns out I do, because I got that gift. It's the gift of gab, folks. Thank you for joining the Chad Prather Show. Jump in the chat, hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Let's get some people on here, but please engage in the chat. I love those American flags when you pop them up. American flag, American flag, American flag. It's so easy. Just hit that little emoji. And you know what else is easy is when you hit the thumbs up. The little thumbs up right there below the video. And it tells the algorithm that you are interested in content like this. Boy, howdy. There are so many things going on in our world, and I'm excited about it. Are you guys ready to just kind of buckle up and just kind of roll into the day? There's so many stories. Print media can't keep up with the stories. Like as soon as they publish something, it's old news because Trump and the administration has already done something different. They literally can't keep up with it, and it is fun to watch. So this is why you guys tune into places like Dear America and the Chad Prather Show and Hot Seat Todd and with Maggie Moo on the subject, as well as Brianna Morello. Thank you for that. Listen, guys, let me get this thing started. You ready? Here we go. It looks like, let me start over, because I just want to say I'm excited about what I'm about to say. It looks like the federal government has been consuming your taxpayer dollars faster than a skinny dude at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July. And while you and I have been screaming at them like the bumpus hounds in the kitchen eating our turkey on Christmas morning, we finally have the Trump administration, and particularly Elon Musk, who they're crying over. They're driving through the buffet like a dump truck through a nitroglycerin plant, and I'm here for the fireworks. Now, the excess of unrestrained consumption is being exposed, finally. The Doge clock, I just checked it, is now at $64 billion and counting, which means we're cutting fat faster than Uncle Jimmy did after his gastric bypass surgery. They're guiltier than a man that refuses to give his wife the passcode to his cell phone. And while we love the exposure, we also love the feeling of justification because we always knew they were spending the money. But now we're starting to learn what they were spending the money on. And I'm not talking about millions of dollars to promote DEI in Serbia or cocaine studies for Chihuahuas. Yeah, they actually did that. I'm talking about the money spent on mind control. Yeah, I said mind control. We're now learning that they were buying off media outlets. They paid to push advertiser boycotts against places like X and Rumble because they were attempting to decrease censorship. They pushed war propaganda. They funded lawfare against the former president of the United States and his supporters. They paid for opposition groups in foreign lands to stir up revolutions. From COVID to the clot shots to making you believe that a half-dead puppet was a functioning president of the United States or that a whore with a double-digit IQ could be the first female president. By sending money to crooked NGOs, they literally funded our own invasion at the southern border. Now, do you want to know why the media and Hollywood turned on Donald Trump after he was their hero for so long? Yeah, they were paid to do it with your taxpayer dollars. Now, is that starting to make sense at this point? They used your money and robbed you blind in order to control your mind. Do you want to know why Morning Joe and Mika Brzezinski and the likes of Mark Zuckerberg made a beeline to Mar-a-Lago right after the election? They knew it was all going to come out. Oh, and don't forget Ann Dunham. She worked for, back in the 70s and 80s, for the Agency of International Development. For those of you keeping score, that's the AID part of USAID. Oh, yeah. Who's Ann Dunham? She's the mother of Barack Obama. And when he said he wanted to fundamentally change America, he meant it. Makes you wonder where he got the idea. Yeah, here we go, folks. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. That is Patriot Mobile. They are the folks that defend your rights with their business. What does that mean? Well, whenever you pay your bill for one of the big three out there, the folks that you've been using forever for your cell coverage, they send a portion of your bill to leftist progressive causes, places like Planned Parenthood, stuff that, the CRT stuff, the BLM stuff, all these kind of places. You don't want your money going to that. Make sure that you're supporting folks that believe in your values along with you. They believe in your constitutional rights as well as the Bill of Rights, things like your Second Amendment and First Amendment rights. Patriot Mobile are the guys, man. They are the ones. And you don't have to worry about losing coverage or dropping a call or anything because they're pinging off the same towers everybody else is using. So you're going to get the same great coverage. You're going to get a cheaper deal. You're going to get a better deal, and it's going to be from Patriots. They got a 100% U.S. customer service base. You can call them at 972-PATRIOT, or you can go over there and shop a little bit at patriotmobile.com/Chad. They got what you need. They got a package that will fit your needs, your budget, your family. So go over to patriotmobile.com/Chad or call them at 972-PATRIOT and tell them Chad sent you. Go do it. All right, I want to bring him on. I've missed him. I haven't seen him in 120 minutes. Here he is, the man with the voice, the man who's everybody's choice. It's Royce, producer Royce. In the house. There
What's
you go. Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better, Chad. I really am.
I pooped and puked for 16 hours. Might have lost a pound or two, and then I thought I had the norovirus. I was speculating. I don't have that. I just ate bad Chinese food, and it got out of my system. And, I said I wasn't going to eat Hunan Jade anymore, but, last night I started to get the itch. I had to make myself not order that Chinese food.
Don't do it, Chad.
Something
Don't
about
do
that
it.
stuff. I love it so much. Instead, I made chicken and dumplings. Ooh, it was so good. Now I'm thinking about that. Speaking of dumplings and governmental excess, the man the Marines trained to be a fighting machine, here he is, Party Foul Steve. Look at that.
My young lad, I didn't get a rap intro from Chad.
You got a little rhyme right there.
I was working on it.
They got a little rap, got a little deal. I think I'm giving up my talk career to do a little
Rapping.
career, man.
Little country
Really
rap.
rapping today.
a little something. There's a song out there that most people, they don't like, but it is one of my all-time biggest played songs, and that is a song called Get Drunk that we put out. Is Get Drunk. It's the closest thing to rap you'll ever find me do. But if you go to
I'll have to go listen.
you go to Spotify or you go to Apple iTunes or whatever, if you go to that, you'll find a song called Get Drunk. And people are like, "Oh, you're promoting it." It's funny. I'm a humorist. I'm a comedian. It's a funny song. And trust me when I tell you, when my buddy Tom Shepard, when we were talking about putting that song out, it was written a lot worse than it is. And let me just put it that way. It was written a lot worse than it is. Okay. Boys, how do you feel today? You good? I mean, are you liking watching this Doge stuff? Are you liking, I'm loving the meltdowns. I'm loving the tears. I'm watching Newsmax. I got Fox on right here. I am loving watching these people who are basically, they feel like they are being criminalized at this point. And I say, give me more. Give me more. And here's the thing. If it's, I'll go on record as saying this, and I think everybody will agree with me. If Republicans are doing this kind of waste, expose them too, please. Expose them too.
That's what I was going to say.
They
Step
are.
on some toes.
But they've shown that 95% of all of the USAID funding has gone to Democrat causes. What I said in the opening intro right there, you want to know why? You kept saying, why do they hate Donald Trump so much? Why did they create such a campaign to smear the guy when they loved him for 50 years? They loved him. They got paid to hate him. It's all starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
I think they need to go further back, maybe a couple of administrations, including Trump's 2016 to 20. Let's see where it was going then.
You
dig
ain't
in
wrong
deep
about it.
and throw them all out.
You ain't wrong about it. Again, I go back to what I said about Ann Dunham. Ann Dunham, of course, Barack Obama's. Ann Dunham was an anthropologist, okay? And she worked for it. Obviously, she did work for the CIA. They sent her all over the world. Barack Obama was raised by his grandmother. I think her name was Madeline. Somebody could correct me on that. I think it was Madeline Dunham. But Barack Obama was raised by his grandmother. He didn't know his father. He was raised by his grandmother because his mother was getting sent all over the world. She was doing work for the CIA, and she was doing work for the AID, which, again, is the part of. And so when he said, I want to fundamentally change America, he meant that. He meant it. Because these people hate this country. The globalists plan to bring America corrupt us. They wanted to crash the plane, to use a metaphor. And they knew that if they could bankrupt us, if they could expose the dollar and defund the dollar and do all these things, and at the same time keep all of us broke. And look at the propaganda they've used over the years. Everybody, mom and dad, both have to go to work because you got to make enough money to support your household, but what they really knew was they had to deceive you into believing that you had to do that in order to live a certain lifestyle while they were going to tax both of you. So that was the government's way of continuing to fund their propaganda. I encourage everybody to go watch yesterday's episode because I don't want to get all back in it, even though I'm just telling you, it's got my hemorrhoids flared up, okay? And I'm sitting on a pepper. That's what I want y'all to know right now. All right. Look at what it's doing, though. It's doing some good things. Not only is it cutting the fat off the budget, and as I said, $64 billion has been found on the Doge clock. This social media influencer, pop it up there, Royce. Here's what she said, those of you who have followed her. This is Democrat activist Olivia Juliana. She's threatening to go on a hunger strike until USAID is restored. These people think we care. That's the funny part about it.
What is a hunger strike? Is that just a fast?
I mean,
what does that mean?
I think she would benefit from it.
She would.
That's true.
I'm all for fasting. I fast several times a year.
Yeah, but you don't weigh 700 pounds.
That's because I fast. Maybe she needs to go on a
Flip
fast,
it-
like
flip
an
it over.
82-day fast.
Flip it over one more screen over. Here's what her report is. Apparently she's been doing it because what she said that she's now lost some weight. She says that she's now lost 50 pounds because she can't afford to eat in a Trump economy. Do you have that? Do you have that picture, Royce? Did I send you that one?
I don't think I do have that.
All right,
one.
it's okay. But there's another thing where she did a follow-up to this, and she said she's now lost 50 pounds. Honey, that 50 pounds is a drop in the bucket, literally. Like you took a spoonful out of the ocean, okay? But this idea that they're going to play on your emotions, like until USAID, really, honey, you cared so much about USAID that this was what you...
You can travel to all these activist things. You can take these photos on selfies on $1,000 cell phone. You can't afford to eat. Come on.
Yeah, she can eat. And I promise you ain't going to starve to death. So I tell people all the time, people come to my live shows and they'll take a picture. I was like, let's take it till you get it right, till you're happy. Because, these women, they got their side they want to be on, and then they got the lighting they need. And then you got to hold the cell phone higher to take the picture because they want to see themselves the way the Lord does, from above and with one chin. And so I tell them, I said, take the picture till you get happy, because the cheapest thing in a Biden economy is the film and that cell phone camera. Just do it. And so now, I'm willing to pay extra for eggs if that's the meltdown point. I'm willing to pay extra for eggs just for Juliana, whatever her name is, to lose a little weight. Just for the entertainment value of watching these people lose their freaking minds over this Doge stuff. I say trim the fat, baby. Let's go. I don't care. I don't care.
Metaphorically, that is exactly what Doge is doing. So,
yeah.
Listen, I got to be honest. I don't see. Sometimes you can see from the Democrats' perspective, be like, okay, they're insane, they're demonic. I get why they would like this. Okay, but the idea of putting more money in everybody's pocket and not spending it on random things that don't benefit you but benefit other countries for no reason.
Right.
Weird stuff. Like $100 million to fix HIV in Ukraine. I don't see how anybody can be upset with the idea of Doge.
Yeah.
You're saving money.
And again, my thing there is, Royce, to your point, we can talk about the frivolous, crazy spending, but they paid for mind control. Last night, Tony, as we were all texting in our group getting ready for Dear America today, the Politico thing where they pay $34 million to Politico to push the New York Times misinformation campaign about COVID. Tony goes, why does that get you so riled up? And I said, it's the worst scandal in media history because they basically paid to control your mind. So J6, they paid for that level of prosecution and persecution. They paid for that. They paid for 5,000 FBI agents out of 13,000 existing agents to go after J6ers. They paid. They set up the propaganda with the J6 Congressional Committee, all the Liz Cheney and the whole thing. Adam Kinzinger crying his crocodile tears. He got paid to cry like that. You can't convince me otherwise at this point. Everything that they did, including COVID, the fact that they pushed back against ivermectin, the fact that everybody was getting deplatformed, USAID, all whatever acronym out there where they were funneling that money through it, all of it went for these kind of things. They destroyed lives, they destroyed careers, they destroyed relationships. And it's just the stuff they did while you're waving goodbye to grandma through the plexiglass and she dies alone in the nursing home. You couldn't even go in there and hold somebody's hand while they breathe their last. All of that funded by a propaganda arm.
Better yet, they took an election, the 2020.
You're right. And then the whole thing about we're going to why is it that they constantly do something where, like, 2 weeks ago, nobody was using the phrase USAID, okay? Like, once upon a time, COVID, or as Todd says, COVID, nobody knew that word. I mean, they had coronavirus on the back of your Lysol can, but nobody reads the back of their Lysol can. The word coronavirus was there. All of that was there, but we didn't know that word. We didn't know words like misinformation and disinformation. We weren't tossing around words like that. They paid for that vocabulary to be inserted in our language, because if you can control language, you control culture. And so they knew if they could change the vocabulary. What makes you think? And listen, I'll go down the rabbit hole as far as y'all want to go. I don't got any proof on any of this, but it just makes sense to me right now. You know, the whole what propped up BLM? Why is Patrisse Cullors? Why does she have 3 mansions in a white neighborhood in California?
I think it's down to 2 now. 1 burned down.
1 burned down. I think 2 might have burned down. Why do they have end racism in the back of the end zone? Why was that a deal? Where does a Colin Kaepernick come from? Why does a guy go from being a mediocre quarterback to being the spokesperson for whatever? The George Floyd thing. You name one piece of propaganda that we've spoken out against over the last 10 years, and I'm guaranteeing you. And it goes back, like I said, Ann Dunham, she worked for AID. She is the one, she's the progenitor of a Barack Barry Soetoro Obama, whatever his name is today, Barack Hussein Obama. She worked for AID. So, you know what? CBS, as far as I'm concerned, you're CIA. ABC, as far as I'm concerned, you're CIA. CNN, as far as I'm concerned, you're CIA. Name it down the list. As far as I'm concerned, every one of you, we've been in it's like we're plugged into the freaking Matrix, dude.
And as far as Colin Kaepernick, they were trying to push a DEI hire into the NFL with the media and the narrative. They were, because he didn't meet the standard of the best quarterbacks in the business.
Horrible.
That was proven.
No, they set him up. They set him up like they set up Joe Biden. He was a puppet for the propaganda. Mm-hmm. What do you say, Royce?
Well, we talk about how, like the internet shows like us and all these different influencers, they're becoming the new media. We are becoming the new news. And the only reason why that's the case is because people cannot trust the mainstream media. And you can find videos online of Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, smaller corporations too, where they all are saying the exact same thing as if they were given a script. We've known for a long time that they were fed. Exactly. You can watch them. They all line up perfectly. We're even in like the pronunciation and how they inflex their voice and stuff. It's all exactly the same.
Right.
It's quite bizarre. And people see that and they're turning away from it because it's fake. If we thought that mainstream media was not being fed what to say, then we would all still be watching it and probably trust it. But no, there's only a few people that you can trust, like Tucker Carlson, who was on mainstream media. And what happened to him? The dude left and went to the internet because that's where the truth is. Sadly, right? Isn't it the saying, like, don't believe everything you see on the internet? Well, now it's starting to become quite the reverse. If it's on the internet, it's probably more likely to be true than what you're seeing on CNN. It's a complete flip-flop.
Couple of things further. Do you remember whenever, well, you probably don't, but Steven Crowder, I guess it was last year, Steven Crowder ran a clip on Louder with Crowder. He ran a clip of Dan Bongino, and then he commented on the clip, like we always show the clips. They kicked him off of YouTube and demonetized him for a while, all because he shared a Dan Bongino clip. Bongino is banned, completely banned from YouTube. You don't show Dan Bongino's face and you don't put his voice on YouTube. They banned him, the whole thing. And then they banned Crowder for using a clip of Bongino. And you remember, for instance, this pops off the top of my head, when everybody was calling her Kamala Harris. Or Kamala Harris. They were calling her Kamala Harris. And they did this whole campaign where everybody out there was saying, it's Kamala. And if you call her Kamala, you're being a racist. No, I'm just pronouncing a stupid name that doesn't make any sense. I don't know anybody else named Kamala, and I don't think anybody should know how you say Kamala. It's only Kamala I've ever heard of. And they were like, it's racist if you don't say Kamala, because they were pushing name recognition because they knew that she was going to be the one who was going to be the front runner, not even have a primary, but she was going to be the candidate on the Democrat ticket. All that stuff is funded. They basically paid for her campaign. They paid for her campaign. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't tell me that that woman raised $1 billion like that.
And then ran out of it.
And then ran out of it, and even
that
went,
definitely proves that it was the government because they ran out of money.
yeah.
You got a
I want to
point
tell
there.
you guys something. I'm gonna tell you guys another example in a minute. You hang with me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me the like. Give me all the stuff. Throw me some American flags in the chat. Let me see the stuff. Hit the thumbs. Hit the thumbs. Bam, 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 bam. I'm going to tell you something else that's going to prove how they do things, and you're going to see it. But before they do that, I told you yesterday about my new friends over at Allied Oilfield. We got a lot of truckers that listen to this show. God bless our truckers. You guys are the lifeline, the lifeblood of our country. God bless those men and women that are also out there in the oil fields, the oil and gas business. I'm from Texas. Let me tell you something. Here in Texas, we are thankful for our roughnecks and the people out there getting it done. Our friends over at Allied Oilfield, if you're in those industries and you need reliable top-tier equipment and services, I want you to check out Allied Oilfield. Go to alliedoilfield.com. They've been around forever. They've been industry leaders. They have been on the front lines of creating new equipment and innovative gear. Let me tell you, they manufacture high-quality oil and gas equipment, and they're found in every major oil and gas play across the U.S., all over the U.S., and they are a premier oil and gas equipment manufacturer, and they manufacture it right here proudly in America. They're over there in West Texas, Levelland, Texas, to be specific. If you got an idea, you can dream it up. I bet you if it's in the trucking, if it's oil and gas, if it's any type of equipment like that, if you need that trailer built, they'll get it done. They will get it done. So visit them over at alliedoilfield.com, and you can fill out a little lead form, and they'll reach out and help take your company to the next level. I like those guys and gals over there. They're good folks, man. We'll be up in Lubbock and Amarillo later on this year, this summer. I like that panhandle.
I love it. Hey, I do need everyone to do me a little favor. Pull your chat down and hit that like button.
Okay.
And we need to get those likes. Pull your chat down. It's a little
likes.
little like button, a thumbs up right there below. I guess it would be below Chad's head, right?
Well, I'll tell you, you want to talk about censorship, and I've done it ad nauseum. I've made people sick of hearing this from me. We were at once upon a time, I've been in this podcast game for a long time. We used to be in the top 25 of all categories. I mean, that's like where Charlie Kirk lives. I mean, these kind of, and Megan and Tucker and those guys. We used to be in top 25 of all categories, and then the censorship hit. And so now there's a lot of people who are coming along, and I'm so thankful to visit with so many new people from the Dear America family who are going, who's Chad Prather? Listen, I'm 52 years old. I still ask every day, who is Chad Prather? I ain't never going to figure me out. But I like to run my mouth. I like to talk about things, and I get pretty riled up. But, yeah, please hit that like button. It helps us get back. And I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to avoid the Google overlords. YouTube has screwed me over and over again. I'm trying to get Rumble. I'm trying to give them some love. I want Rumble to give me some love back. Come on, Rumble. Come on, Rumble.
Come on, Rumble.
Let me give you a perfect example, boys, of how whenever you don't go along with where they spend that money in order to push their propaganda, whenever you buck the system, they crucify you. We know they cancel you, but they crucify you. They took one of their own, one of the most celebrated authors of all time, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, whenever she started speaking out against biological males competing against biological females, they crucified her. Even the characters in her own story, the people from the movie, wouldn't invite her back to the reunion parties, and she created them. Here's what she had to say after yesterday's signing by Donald Trump to keep men out of women's sports. J.K. Rowling said, "Congratulations to every single person on the left who's been campaigning to destroy women's and girls' rights. Without you, there'd be no images like this." So she says, you know what? You guys burned yourself down. I love that image. Donald Trump surrounded by little girls, not a sniff among them. He didn't sniff none of them. It's beautiful.
If that was Joe Biden,
She should write
sitting
one
there-
more book, though. A final book, and just like kill them all off or make them all trans or something. Just be done with it. Just each one of them, pick them off.
No, you look at this image. You look at this image, and it feels wholesome. Okay, if Joe Biden was sitting there, it'd be disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, his olfactory glands would go in hyperdrive.
Oh, he'd be.
His head would explode.
His head would pop. Hey, yeah. Hey, let me tell you about the time when the kids and the corn pop and the legs on my hair on my legs turned gold and blonde in the sun, and the kids like to rub them down. They pop
They
up.
rub my leg, and
They
they turn
rub my
blonde, and they stick
leg.
back up.
I mean, can you imagine the stuff that he would say? I mean, the stuff that, again, they propped this guy up. He ran
And
out
that's
there.
the stuff he says on TV. Imagine what he says behind closed doors.
Can you imagine when the Sundowners kicks in? The stuff that comes out of his mouth? That's why I'm telling you, you've seen the last of Joe Biden. You have seen the last of Joe Biden. They are done with that dude. They trotted him out with his little C-3PO claw hands walk, and every now and then he would kind of stumble like he was going to run, and they were like, look how competent, look how strong. He's, what was it Karine Jean-Pierre said? I can't keep up with the president. I can't keep up with him. The dude put a lid on the press every day at 4 o'clock. Put a lid on the day, not the press. 4 o'clock every day.
He was
Keep up
out
with
by
it.
6.
Yep. Go. I mean, he's asleep right now. Right now. I'd be willing to bet $1,000 at betonline.ag that he's asleep right now. Wouldn't it be cool if we could verify stuff like that? Be like,
yeah.
Yeah, the Biden cam. You could look at him all the time.
can you imagine how boring that reality show would be? You just like Joe just pooped his pants again, and it's like poop cam, and it'd be in every room of the house because you don't know where he's gonna poop. He's like coming, it's the dog, I got a commander, I got tripped over the dog and I pooped my pants running down my leg. Jill's gone. Jill's out making out with Doug Emhoff. But they turn on their own. They turn on their own. J.K. Rowling, and I love the fact that she never backed off. It helps to be a billionaire, but she never backed off. Never backed off. And you know what? She can't write another book because they wouldn't publish it. She'd have to self-publish it, but I guarantee you.
It'd be worth it. She could
It'd be-
afford it. Just
I-
do it and
and I
write them all
guarantee
off.
you it'd be a
Kill them off
bestseller.
in some crazy way. Just,
Do you know how many times people write books? They write books, and I'm writing a book right now. I'm pretty deep in it right now. I'm finishing a book. Do you know how when we put books out there, how hard it is because like the New York Times and all those bestseller lists, they throttle. Again, I go back to they spend money to make sure voices stay throttled. This is why we've said over and over again, you can get the audio book or the digital book, but buy the hard copy. Because you they can't take that away. They can delete the digital book. They can delete that. They can hit one button and that's gone. You got to have the.
Do you think
Our
that any
platform
of
no
the
longer
buyout
supports
of
this
Fox
product.
came from USAID? I'm trying to. Are we going to find out if it is?
You talking about Fox News? Like Fox?
Yeah, I'm talking Fox News. I'm talking. Do you think there's some
Well,
money that was sent to
I
them?
think
or
they're
spent
all
on
in
them?
bed together. They're all in bed together. Whether it's the Murdochs, Sinclair, all of them in the bed together, dude. All of them in the bed together.
Well, I think
And-
the answer to that is 100% yes. 100% yes.
Yes.
Fox received money. Yes.
Of course they did. Anybody did.
I hope that's exposed. I want to see that too. I wanna
all
see
of it.
all.
I lost my respect for Fox a million years ago. So that's
There's a
the
couple
deal.
of shows I still watch. I still like.
Yeah.
So,
And,
but that's
I mean,
individuals.
I like watching CNN clips just to watch Scott Jennings. Now, what he says here, and I'm sure many of you have seen it already, this is brilliantly profound. Scott Jennings is amazing. I mean, I hope he never disappoints me. I love the sound bites he gives us. Scott Jennings is doing the little round table talking head deal on CNN. Listen to what he says about the 80-20 rule. Tell me this isn't true, and tell me, going forward, you're going to see this everywhere now. And it's brilliant on the part of Donald Trump. Play that little clip.
Got it.
Yeah, play that thing. Here we go. Play that clip. Here we go.
He's describing what is currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating. This is why.
I don't.
Yeah.
He's describing what is
genius, dude. That is genius. Now, if you think about it like that and you look at what they push back against, now look at even all the way to the Gaza statement he made the other day with Bibi Netanyahu. Start looking at the stuff. This is why Trump, he says these radical things out there. He throws radical things, radical solutions, and they're going to jump on it. And it brings their approval rating down. And they can't help themselves because they have used the funding to pay these rabid dogs like JoJo from Jers and Brooklyn Dad and the Krasenstein brothers and Harry Sisson and Chris Mowry, which is ridiculous that those idiots are even household names at this point. But they've used that to put these puppets out there who for a fee will say anything, and double down on it. And I can prove it to you later on in the show, and we will. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I've got something. If somebody's on the Chad Prather Facebook page, Chad is not messaging you to inbox him right now. He's live.
Yeah.
Somebody's had a message up there to inbox you.
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
I don't DM you. I don't ask you to DM me. And I get a lot of DMs. Whew. I get a lot of messages, Royce. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I've never asked you to message me. Ever. And ever. Like if I want to talk to you, I will give you my cell phone number. I've had the same cell phone number for 25 years. I've never changed it. I will never ask you to DM me. That is not my MO, not my modus operandi.
What about DDD MMM?
Do you ever DDD MMM?
No.
Yeah? Dirty Dick Durbin and what was the man-meat one? What was the?
Man-made meat.
Man-made meat. Yeah, synthetic meat, man-made meat, and Dirty Dick Durbin.
That's still the funniest thing I've heard
Dude,
in a long time.
Royce pulled out comedy gold yesterday. I love it. DDD, MMM. All right, let's keep on with the Scott Jennings thing. Now, this old girl here. This is funny to me. Ashley Allison. She's gonna tell on herself. Now I'm gonna break it down for you. Ashley Allison, she worked, of course, for the Biden administration. Listen to what she says. Now they're getting so frustrated that logically they're saying the quiet parts out loud now. Play this.
I do not have the same opportunity as you.
I know I don't.
And you know
And
that
I know
too.
what, Scott? And you know that.
Let me just tell you about me.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to answer this.
I'm not talking about how you feel. I'm talking about how I feel. Me, a black woman in this country.
But not in this city.
And I will run. And if you want
Look,
me
I'm a
to,
New Yorker, not in
I
this
will
city.
run
You
the
cannot say that.
facts.
You
I
can't
will
say
run.
that in this city. I have a.
I'm not talking about New York. I'm talking about Ashley
let her finish.
Allison
Okay,
right
let her
here.
finish. Let her
I
finish.
got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table,
Fine
right?
by me.
And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not
Even
because...
in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess wasn't what happened when I was there. DEI.
All right, stop it. Stop it.
What?
Look,
She worked for the Biden administration. She literally just said the Biden administration paid her less than anybody else that was there. Now, I thought they were the party of promoting the DEI. I mean, this doesn't sound like a being black woman problem. This sounds like an Ashley Allison problem. Because you might have 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, and whatever else she said, but your degrees can stack up on top of each other until you can stand up and look over at the fence and see all the rich white people playing. But that don't mean you're smart, because your diploma doesn't equal an education. And what you just proved with your finger wagging in front of everybody's face and saying that you got more degrees than anybody in the room, but yet you're still the most underpaid person everywhere you go, while you spout your pablum on CNN, where you have been given a voice to elevate your so-called intelligence. You just failed miserably, and you outed your former boss, who was Joe Biden. You can't make this stuff up anymore. Can't make it up.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
She also agreed to work for that wage.
Here's the thing, boys
She
and
signed
girls.
the contract.
Yep.
Here's the thing, boys and girls. Constitutionally, legally, there shouldn't be a minimum wage. This is a side note. There shouldn't be a minimum wage. If I agree to pay you $1 an hour and you agree to take that $1 an hour, that's our contract. There should be no government that steps in and tells me that our contract is null and void. Maybe you can choose not to work for me. The pay is $1 an hour. So she's the one, you're right. Exactly great point, guys. She made the choice to do all of that. She made the choice to take that wage and to sit there and say, because she's a black woman, I think Oprah Winfrey would like a word. Because I don't think it's got anything to do with you being a black woman. I think Joy Reid would like to have a word with you. I think that Gayle King would love to chat. I think that there's a lot of people out there that would be, I don't know, Condoleezza Rice. She's a member at the Augusta National Golf Course where they play the Masters Golf Tournament. She's a black woman that served in George W.'s cabinet. Condoleezza seems to be doing okay. But look at that face. She can afford that manicure. Look at them nails. She's coming at you. That's not a real hair.
She's wearing too. Look at the earrings and the necklace and the rings and.
That's not her real hair. She can afford that. So again, and when you're going to get up there, it's just like Congresswoman Eyelashes, Jasmine Crockett, and again, you go back to these people on X and the Twitter bots and all these people out there, the keyboard warriors that want to defend her as being the future of democracy and the future of America. I'm out. I'm moving to Costa Rica. I'm gonna live down there with the chlamydia ridden sloths. I'm moving. I'm out. I'm moving to the jungles. You're going to find out that Chad Prather got eaten by a puma in the jungles of Costa Rica. But I didn't have to sit here and listen to the BS of a moron. See, man, I used to say what I want to say, and now I've started censoring myself because DDD-MMM. I can't stand it, dude. But again, they tell them themselves. It's just like the guy, and we don't have the clip, but the guy yesterday who made the comment in the thing where he said, they're taking away our money where we have been used to fund freedom fighters in these other countries. Bro, you just admitted to doing something illegal. America doesn't have the right to fund. Now, the CIA does it, but they don't tell you they do it.
They do that. They fight wars that we don't know about. There's all kinds of, behind the scene wars.
Where do you think the Taliban came from?
Yeah.
Dadgum Bill Clinton met with Osama bin Laden.
Whoever we want in charge in the Middle East is where we put the money. And sometimes that changes.
So here we are. Here we are, guys. This is the world we're living in, plugged into the matrix, mind washed, brain washed. We're supposed to believe what they tell us. They're telling us the quiet parts out loud. She just said that she's the lowest paid person she's ever in any position. You worked for Joe Biden. You worked for the White House. You just admitted that they didn't give a rat's ass about you. You're going to sit there and tell me, that you got to have the USAID back so we can fund these, freedom fighters in other countries. Bro, that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't admit that that's illegal. We're not allowed to do that. It's like the CIA operating on American soil. It's illegal. But they do it.
She should just turn Republican. That'd fix everything. That'll fix it.
We always wanted more than just the Republican Democrats. I think we have it now. It's MAGA. It's going to be its entire own party.
Yeah. These people,
there will be a MAGA party.
These people are melting down like a 2-year-old that got the cookie taken away from them. I love to watch the tears. CLC in the chat, Cry Libs Cry. And then you could cry about the fact that the Super Bowl is coming Sunday, and there's 50-50 chance of who's going to win. And that's what they're saying over at betonline.ag. Check them out over at betonline.ag. Go over there and see those guys and see what the lines are on the Super Bowl. Obviously, they got the game, but they got a lot of prop bets over there you can check out as well. Go over there and see what they've got, as well as the political betting. If you hit the menu and scroll down about 2/3 of the way, you can bet on politics. But you got the Eagles and you got the Chiefs. It's a pretty even game right there. If you look at the money line, it looks like the Chiefs have a little bit of an edge there. We'll see how it goes. That game is at 3:30 Pacific time, because that's the time zone I'll be in. 6:30 Eastern time. I'll be in Las Vegas for the game.
I think I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I think I am.
I am. I mean,
I just like them as a team.
I'm not a Philadelphia fan. I got to agree with what Mexican Tony said today. As a lifelong Cowboys fan, although I'm converting quickly to the Houston Texans because I think that even the Dallas Cowboys have quit on themselves. But I like checking them out. They're good people over there too. I talk to them all the time over at betonline.ag. It's not .com, it's .ag. So go over there and check them out. I like the Chiefs. I put a little money on the Chiefs. I don't mind telling you at the beginning.
I like the Chiefs too.
At the beginning of the season. So if it pays out, that means my kids are going to be texting me and they'll be going, "Hey, we need $50."
The only reason I'm liking the Chiefs is you really can't bet against them. They've accidentally won like 6 or 7 games this year.
In my opinion, this is
Luck.
the worst Chiefs team in a couple of years. Yeah. I don't think this is a good one. So anything's up for grabs, but it's hard. It's hard. The Eagles are good. I think pound for pound, they're a better team. So lots of stuff going on. Check them out, betonline.ag.
I'd rather be lucky.
Let's see. Linda Adams, Chad, will you adopt me? Girl, you practically already are adopted by me, Linda. Hey, girl. Linda.
Why say it like that?
Linda knows why.
Wasn't it a Conway Twitty? Was it Conway Twitty had that song?
Linda on my mind.
There you go.
Laying here with Linda on my mind. Yeah. People are like, I hadn't watched the football in a million years. That's good. I don't plan on watching it either, but I just bet on it.
I'll watch it.
I
I'm
watch the
boycotting things.
I don't know. That's a whole other debate about what we boycott. But, boycotts are from the bottom up, whereas cancellation is from the top down. That's another conversation for another time. People say, I thought you conservatives didn't believe in cancel culture. Well, when it's a grassroots boycotting something above you that's bigger than you, that's boycotting. There's a difference. Canceling is when the powers that be above you cancel down below
you
them.
down, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. Big difference in that thing. And, so check it out. And, I'll adopt you, Linda. You practically live here anyway. I mean, you're right down the street. You're close. You won't even have to move your stuff very far. All right. Representative Dan Goldman, he's putting out videos in Chinese instructing illegal aliens how to evade ICE. Why would you he's got the tweets out there. He's doing them in Mandarin. He's got some in Spanish. He's got some in Mandarin. Tell me, please, someone, why you would try to protect illegal Chinese nationals that are in our country. Read that headline. Go back to it. Wait a second, Royce. The illegal Chinese migrants shipped weapons to North Korea from U.S. Wow. I've told you over and over again, there's no wormhole from Beijing to Juarez, so how are they getting here? Then you have the next headline over there, which talks about how, click over on it, the Chinese migrant wanted for L.A. murder brazenly tries to sneak back into the U.S., finally got caught. Why would you do that?
Might want to check USAID, see if they're buying Chinese flights.
Well, what did I say earlier? They literally funded our own invasion. There's no other way to explain 165 nations being represented at border encounters every year. There's not 165 nations south of here. So they're getting here somehow. But this dude's putting it out in Mandarin. Why would you do that? Why would you try to protect? I get the logic behind trying to protect people that are Hispanic.
Translate it?
Yeah, sure. Translate the post. Let's see what he says. Every New York resident has rights when interacting with immigration enforcement. Whatever changes the next 4 years bring, please stay informed, stay safe, and stay united. Okay.
Stay hidden.
Well,
And then here it is. I want to listen to him speaking. Hold up.
He doesn't do it. He speaks in
Videotape the
English.
officers so long as you don't interfere.
It's just translated. He's speaking in English.
Yeah, but he's putting the post out there in all the deal. So, hey, the Department of Education. This thing is bigger. This thing is bigger than anybody wants to admit. This dismantling of the Department of Education. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who say, "Man, if you get rid of the Department of Education, nobody's going to be able to read. This is going to be on our future. Our kids are going to suffer." Here's what everybody's favorite educationalist had to say, Billy Baldwin. Everybody's listened to the Baldwin brothers. Said if Trump abolishes the Department of Education, teachers should walk out, shut it all down. I'm here for that.
Okay.
Schools, learning, childcare, enjoy the economic chaos that follows. Well, Billy, let me remind you what happened during COVID when we had to pull our kids out of school for 2 years, and the number of homeschoolers across the country literally doubled because the Zoom call crap you guys were pulling didn't work when parents started seeing what teachers were actually spitting out in front of their children. They's like, we're not going to keep putting you guys in these brainwashing institutions. We're going to pull them out and homeschool them ourselves.
Aren't we last in like everything?
Everything.
It's,
Because listen to me, guys. Listen to me, all of you, everybody listening. The Department of Education does not exist to educate anyone. It's bureaucracy. It doesn't exist. It's never educated a human being. First of all, the Department of Education was only started in 1979. Was that right? 79? Yes, 1979 is when they started the Department of Education.
Yes.
For the next 20 years to 99, we saw a little bit of increase. You know what they do? They put out the standardized tests, like the STAR test here in Texas. These kids fret and fume over taking these rote memory tests that they hope they can do standardized testing. Instead of getting an education where you learn not only common sense but critical thinking, you got to take and stress over this standardized test that determines where you're performing. That's the kind of crap, rather than educating people, that the Department of Education has put together. Now, listen to me, and I'll educate you on a couple of things. That went fine up until 1999. And then from 1999, and I might be a decade off. Maybe somebody fact check me on this thing. The Department of Education either started in 79 or 89, and then it went okay. But between, I think it was 89 now that I'm saying it out loud. But now, it went okay to 2009, but from 2009 to 2012, it did this. It nosedived. It nosedived. Help me out, Royce. Google that thing. When did it start? I want to find out. Makes my story better.
1979.
79. All right. So believe your first thought. So for
Officially
20 years.
began in 1980.
It started. So there you go. For 20 years, they saw a little bit of increase. Then it 2000, from 2000 to 2002, I got to get my decade straight. It nosedived, and it's never come back up. The scoring, the testing, the educational, the results, all of it has nosedived. It's never come back up. So dismantle it, burn it to the ground. I'm with you, Billy. I'm with you, Billy Baldwin. Shut it all down. Let's get back to real education. You say, well, what does that mean, Chad? Well, let me tell you what it means. In 1900, you went to school in the United States for about 3 months a year, okay? And you only went to about the equivalent of the 8th grade. Once you finished that, and the reason you only went 3 months out of the year is because people had to work. Kids would work in the fields. It was agricultural agrarian society. People had to work. Kids worked. They helped keep the family farm going, kept the ranch going, all these things. They worked. They contributed. And they couldn't keep them in school 8-9 months out of the year, so they went 3 months. They graduated at 8th grade. And they had an education that was beyond anything that we've ever seen in our lifetimes. To this day, you go over there, Tim Barton has the tests at Wall Builders, the tests that were given to exit students exiting school, the exit exams given in 1900. He said, we've given this test to literally hundreds of PhD education college students. And he said, we've never had a single person pass this exam. That was the exit exam that the equivalent of 8th graders were taking in 1900.
Really?
Yes. He said, every PhD education student in whatever university, he said, we've given it to hundreds. Not a single one has ever passed this exam. We are stupid. We are stupid. John Quincy Adams knew like 9 languages. He was translating for the French ambassador when he was 10 years old. 10 years old. Went on to become our 4th president. Let me tell you, we have dumbed ourselves down, and then we've put these scapegoats out there and believe that an institution's going to make you smart. Absolutely not. You want to know the real hard truth? You know who used to be in charge of education? Same people that used to be in charge of the welfare system, and that's the church. Don't even get me started on how far that's fallen off. So here we are.
I just want to know, is C still the correct answer on most things? Multiple choice?
I mean, you know
That's
what? Your guess is as good as mine, baby.
That
Yeah.
was my, C.
Yeah.
If I didn't know the answer, it was C.
But don't tell me the brain trust like Billy Baldwin is going to tell me about how the economy and everything's going to be in chaos if we shut the schools down. First of all, you're going to take all that federal funding. We've spent an hour talking about the federal funding that's been misused and mishandled, sending it to Washington D.C. What Trump has said is what has always been supposed to be what they're supposed to do. You take all that funding, you put it back in the states, and they're like, oh well, these places like Texas and these red states, they're just going to get dumber and dumber. Why don't you give us a shot and let us see? Because we got a lot of educators out there. They've been hosed by the system. And by the way, if the Department of Education is so dadgum great, then why are some of the poorest people out there doing the most important job, like our educators? Because they can't rub two sticks together with a salary that's worth a crap. And they go out there struggling to make ends meet, and they got to teach your kids. And a lot of them are raising funds at the beginning of the school year in order to put school supplies in their classroom. So if the Department of Education is so great, then I'm sorry, I don't see the fruit from it. I don't see the fruit from it. So here we go.
Yeah.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Most of the teachers that I know hate it too. They hate the way it's done and ran. So.
Royce, do you know what he was talking about when he said C is usually the right answer?
Yeah, like multiple choice.
Oh, okay. Striker
Why?
Jay brought up a good point. I didn't want to.
I didn't know if you had multiple choice when you were going to school.
We got to
What
get
did
out of
he
here
say?
because. What'd you say, Steve?
Well,
I didn't know I didn't know if multiple choice was still around when Royce went to school.
Yeah, well, I was not to expose myself, but I was homeschooled.
Do you know what a
as child.
Scantron is?
I do. I've never done
Scantron's
one.
kind of.
Do you know what a number 2 pencil is?
For a little while.
I do know what a number 2 pencil is, Chad, but I
Okay.
was homeschooled as a child, so I didn't go to public school.
Hey, brother,
And I'm happy about
more
it.
power
You're
to
better
you.
off.
We homeschooled our kids. I got an 18-year-old son with 3 college degrees, and one of them's mechanical engineering. So trust me, I understand homeschooling does just fine. And oh yeah, I'm all about it. So and yeah, I didn't stutter. He's 18. I'm all for it, brother. Homeschool. I mean, you get beat up by a bully on your walk to school from the bedroom to the kitchen, and the bully was
happens.
your older brother. I like
Yeah,
that.
that happens.
I was house teached. Let me show you what the.
I'll show you a video later of the homeschooler getting beat up by his parents.
Let me
I
show
get,
you.
hey, I
hallway.
get made
It's
fun of for
hilarious.
going to homeschool, but then I hear the stories of my friends who went to public school, and I'm like, that doesn't sound better.
Yeah, they're
Sounds
putting litter.
worse.
They're putting gender closets in the classroom so a kid can change clothes so their parents don't know, and they're keeping their identity crisis away from their parents, and then they're putting kitty litter boxes in the classroom so some kid that thinks he's a feline can take a poop. I think we'll be okay without that socialization experiment right here, you know?
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay. Now, let me go one step further here and show you what the Department of Education produces. A super educated Politico who comes from a former vice president's loins and was even a congresswoman who just got the hound beat out of her. She says, damn right, Elon, I'm proud of what America did to win the Cold War, defeat Soviet communism, and defend democracy. Our nation stood for freedom. You may be unfamiliar with that part of our history since you weren't yet an American citizen. Let me tell you what she just did right there. First of all, she tagged the wrong Elon Musk account. That's not even Elon's account. So real smart there, Liz. Way to get owned by yourself. And then she made fun of the intelligence of a legal immigrant in our country. So I thought you guys were so pro-immigration. You're going to sit there and ridicule him. And all he said was he responded to something that said interesting to a tweet that was talking about Liz Cheney. So, this was Mike Benz who said Liz Cheney, who led Trump's impeachment, and the mass imprisonment campaign against thousands of Trump supporters was spawned out of USAID. And Elon says, interesting. And so
And then
she
she gets all
goes off with her
defensive.
little, we were
And
devoted
tags
defending
whoever
democracy.
this is.
Whoever that is. How many followers is on that thing? We don't even know what that is, do we?
More than me.
Not the university, the big twit. I don't know, 8,000 followers. Follow Royce Chamberlain at Royce Chamberlain on X, please. Let's get him to bigger.
I gotta post more, but I want more followers.
Let's make him bigger than fake Elon. Fake Elon.
10K. That's all I want.
All right, I'm talked out for the day. I think I'm talked out. Yeah, I'll tape one for tomorrow, something like that. You can have it. I don't care. Royce has got to go do some kind of wedding thing. I don't know what you're doing. Got to go
Brother's
celebrate his
getting married,
brother that beat him up in
Gotta get-
homeschool.
One of 7 brothers.
Actually, my youngest brother. So, well, he did beat me up when I was homeschooled too.
Yeah,
so.
and earlier we found out, I just saw it popped up. Thank you, Cheryl Elizabeth. Cash Patel's confirmation to be voted next Thursday. So they pushed that out a week. I tweeted it a little while ago when I heard that. I said that I think they just want an extra 7 days to bury the bull crap the criminal bull crap they're trying to hide before they confirm him in there, pass that thing on. So, man,
well, we got some super chats.
Let's do some super chats. Bring them up here. Hopefully I can see them and
Super
read them.
chats. We like the super chats.
Corn pop. Baby Lemon looking up to our lemon character standing in a superhero position. That sounds good. That's amazing. Yeah. I guess I like it for $1.99. K.A. Lindler question. I read somewhere yesterday that said dairy cows are now testing positive with bird flu. My question is, how does that work? We need RFK confirmed now. I agree. And why is it only the chickens and the cows, which is the main source of protein that we eat? Why is it the chickens and the cows? It's not. They're not finding it.
Wonder if Bill Gates has anything to do with that. Him and his man-made meat.
Well, pork's going to be next because those are the most animals that we use are chicken, cows, and pork, right?
Yeah.
So control that food chain, you control everybody else.
Unless you're in Minneapolis, then everybody loves a goat. All right, Candace Williams Scrippa. Why can't they give ivermectin to the animals that are positive to bird flu? People look to it for COVID, so I was curious. I don't know, honestly. Ivermectin is a miracle drug. It really is. I'm not educated enough to know about the strain of the avian flu, honestly, to know what, ivermectin, though, I mean, I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but it did win a Nobel Prize for basically being a cure-all.
You just said it was a cure-all.
You shut up and let me finish my statement. Don't step on my joke. Party foul Steve, do you know how fast I can turn the power off in that room where you're sitting? Yeah.
I know. Don't do that.
No, I don't know. I think it is. I mean, it won a Nobel Prize for basically being a cure-all in animals. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've used it for 25 years. Not on me,
Really?
but animals.
Oh, we've used it on animals forever. And now I go to different ones. I use it now. I mean, you ought to have it.
I injected my wife with some of it one time by accident.
Whoa.
It stings.
Whoa.
You don't inject ivermectin. It'll burn like fire.
Yeah. You know what else will? Sloths with chlamydia. Sherry May, 2000. Chad, your songs with CJ during COVID were so funny. Thank you. Got me through all the nonsense. Now I love your new songs. I bought them on Apple, and they play on my Amazon list all the time. Thank you. What Happened to That is killing it right now. What Happened to That and Watered Down are doing great. CJ texted me this morning, and she said she wrote a song years ago called Demons, and it's a great song. But somehow it got put out like on Spotify, and she's like, I need that pulled down. And I go, I didn't put it up because she wants to re-release it. And so anyway, there's a ton of songs that are out there, but our Quarantine Life was one of our favorite ones. That got us in a lot of trouble. Everybody was convinced back then CJ and I were having an affair, and we weren't. We waited. We waited, and then we fell. Well, we fell in love. Enough about that. Not Woke, my buddy, Not Woke Troubadours, high energy show. Thank you, my friend. Feels like we're winning. Bad General Soap proved no match for Chad. I got the immuno systems in me. Great job, Party Foul and Royce. I pray for Trump's safety in Jesus' name, and we agree with you on that, my friend.
Amen.
And
Last one.
let's do it. Hey, y'all, did you see the lipstick protest? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
I don't know if it was here or Dear America, but it reminds me of Billy Madison when it was Steve Buscemi was crossing people off of his to kill list. And he called him out. He was like, man, I bullied you in high school. I just wanted to let you know I was sorry. And he puts the lipstick on. He just crosses his name off the list. Now I got to go watch Billy Madison.
Corn
Stop
Pop
looking
says,
at
I
me,
don't
Schwan.
remember. Corn Pop says, I don't remember my super chat. LOL.
Yeah. It's
Which was,
okay for you, but
this
you
one
got the
about the baby
$1.99 down. Baby Lemon, looking up our lemon character standing. I missed the rest of it. I don't know.
Oh, here, sorry.
Baby Lemon looking up to our lemon character standing in the superhero position. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum,
It's the Baby
bum.
Lemon.
Man, what's today? Is today Thursday?
Today is Thursday, Chad.
February 6th.
Tonight we're going to be out at Charlie Diggs' birthday bash,
Steve tells all of our business.
live and in person.
Steve tells all of our business. Our buddy Charlie Diggs, concert
sorry.
promoter in North Houston.
They're
It's his
talking
birthday.
about it in the chat, Chad.
Nobody celebrates Charlie like Charlie does. And we're out there.
Nobody was. They didn't even mention him by name. They mentioned
Yeah.
you by name. They
know.
mentioned me by name to see if we were going to be there.
Well, you made sure to tell the world. I'm gonna get Sarah Gonzalez to tell you about privacy. But whatever. I like to bust Steve. I like to bust Steve in the DDD.
What? That's a little far out there.
That's a
brother.
little much. Hey
That's
guys,
a little.
I want to give you guys give you guys a heads up. I am going to be down up in Oregon, Klamath Falls, if I can make it in there.
What are you telling your secrets for?
Dude, I have a very public schedule. I'm going to be in Klamath Falls next weekend, the 14th, Valentine's Day, and then Texas City, down at the High Horse Saloon on the 20th of February, Bryan, Texas, on the 21st at Stampede, and then Cold Springs, Texas. I'm going to be doing a little speaking gig on the 22nd. So, yeah,
Ooh,
nah,
little speaking gig.
I'm pretty
I
transparent.
bet you're not going to eat any Chinese food while you're there.
Bet you're wrong. Bet you wrong. But just want to remind everybody that if you've been laid off because your funding from USAID has been cut off and you don't get to see the effects of cocaine on polar bears, and now you don't have the money to unfreeze their sinuses and their medulla oblongata, then we apologize. And Marco Rubio says, be patient. We'll get to the bottom of it. All right, guys, I love you so much. Royce, follow him at Royce Chamberlain on X, at Partyfoul Steve on Instagram, and you can find him on Facebook, probably MySpace too. Yeah,
I never had MySpace, not once.
All right, Partyfoul, I miss it. Partyfoul, you got any? Yeah, I
words?
agree. Join the Facebook group Striker J11 Wolverine 1776. I agree with that. Any final words there, Partyfoul Steve?
Final word.
You want to tell them I'm going to the bathroom when we're done here, or anything like
I promise
that?
you, you're
or-
squirming already. I've been seeing
Yeah.
you squirm.
I've been sitting on a cork, dude.
I know where
we
you're
got,
headed.
We got done with Dear America this morning. I was like, well, let me see if I'm punting a solid at this point.
Bro,
Mama says
So
alligators is
funny.
always angry because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Medulla oblongata. Mama is wrong. No, you're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Chad Prather got all them friends and party fouls that only wanted to stay at his house
That's true. Can't get rid of him. He's going to be here all day until we go to that party.
all day.
I'm going to get dressed
So
up for the
exciting.
party. She showed me her boobies, and I like them too. All right, Royce, what you got?
I don't know how to follow up with any of that, man.
Can't. No, you're wrong, Colonel
Love you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday. Follow
Benjamin
me.
Franklin didn't invent electricity. Benjamin Franklin's the devil. All right, guys, I love you. Watch Chad.com for all the fun stuff is. Thank you for putting up with our shenanigans and our nonsense. Have a fantastic weekend, and that's all I got. Maybe we'll have a Chad's Church tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. I love you. God bless you. We will talk to you on Monday for sure. Bye.